Hey, check it out. We got some cool stuff coming up. We have, of course, Nathan, who's going to give us his interpretation, unique interpretation of Emblem 27. And then, of course, we have Maddi, who's going to look at the Celtic interpretation of this particular emblem. In addition to that, we have myself and my daughter Anna, who are going to sing the Fugue to Emblem 27, which should be really fun. In addition to that, we have, of course, Steve Kalec, who's going to unveil the alchemical secrets behind this emblem, and he's going to demonstrate that through an experiment that he did concerning this. Really, really cool. And of course, we have Tamas, who's going to look at the body-mind interpretation of this emblem. So we get some really cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Hermetic Journeys. I'm your host, TonyG. Hey, thanks for tuning in. As always, we truly appreciate it. And please, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. Why not? What the heck, right? Got nothing to lose. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. That'd be really nice. I appreciate it. And please comment, because we love the comments we get on these videos. And one more thing. Don't forget, we do have Hermetic Journeys merch, right? We have t-shirts, caps, mugs, all kinds of stuff. So please check that out. That's at hermeticjourneys.com/shop. All right, Emblem 27, let's get right to this. You see a man standing before what appears to be a walled garden, right? And it looks like, if you look at his legs, he's got no feet, or he's standing in mud. And in the background, we see about 9 figures overlooking what's going on there, and then a castle further back. Very interesting. Beautiful, beautiful emblem. I mean, Mateus Marian, you are awesome, right?
Why, thank you, dear sir. Thank you.
All right, so let's see what the motto says, right, first. The motto says, "He that endeavors to enter the philosopher's rosary without a key is like him that would walk without feet." Philosopher's Rosary. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at the epigram and see if it gives us any more clues as to what's going on here. The epigram says, "Roses in wisdom's garden do abound, but always under locks and bolts is found. One only key it has, of mean esteem. Yet without that you swim against the stream. He that can scarce upon a level stand, in vain attempts Parnassus to ascend." Okay, so let's go big picture here. Because, of course, we have the Hermetic Journeys team, my awesome friends, who are going to get into a lot more detail. Okay? So we're going to go big picture. Oh, hello. Hey, sweetheart. So in my humble opinion, the basic overall idea of this emblem is, at least the message I get from it, is that essentially it's, what's that expression? You don't have a leg to stand on. You know, if you're talking to somebody about something, arguing or talking, whatever, and they say to you, you don't have a leg to stand on. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means you don't have a foundation, a foundational basis of fact for your argument. If we look closely at the gate in this garden, it has 3 locks on it. And I believe that may represent the what is it? I believe this might represent the Tria Prima, okay? It looks like Theo wants to be in the picture here. I believe that represents the Tria Prima, and that is, you know, mercury, sulfur, and salt. And certainly if you don't know what those things are, right, you're not going to be able to get into this garden. Well, what is this garden anyway? What is the Rosary of the Philosophers? Well, the Rosary of the Philosophers is actually a reference to a book called the Rosarium Philosophorum. It has nothing to do with rosary beads, okay, in that sense. It's really talking about a garden of wisdom. The overall message that Count Michael is trying to convey here, okay, if you're not going to put the effort into what needs to be done, you can't possibly expect for wisdom to come. Oh, that rhymed. That's pretty cool. So who are the people that are in the background there? Well, I think they are some Greek characters. There are 9 people there. I think 7 of them represent the planetary energies, which of course in the alchemical sense would be the metals. As you may or may not recall, in the alchemical realm, each planet is affiliated with a metal. Now, there were only 7 planets, 7 known planets at the time, and that included the sun and the moon, right? Because they couldn't see the planets beyond Saturn, because you couldn't see them with the naked eye, and the telescopes weren't powerful enough. So Mercury was affiliated with Quicksilver, Venus with copper, Earth with antimony, and so on and so forth. How about a musical interlude? Sound good? Oh yeah. Well, thanks to Tamas for reintroducing the fugues over the last few videos, because they're such a big part of Atalanta Fugiens. So he also had the idea that we should try singing the fugues. I did that quite some time ago, and it was kind of cool, challenging indeed. So we decided to reintroduce it. And this time, for this particular fugue, Emblem 27's fugue, my daughter Anna will be singing the part of Hippomenes, and I'll be singing the parts of the Apple and Atalanta. Thankfully, Atalanta is on a lower register. Typically, it is not, but it worked out. In any case, so let me present to you now the fugue from Emblem 27. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And now let's rejoin our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so now the emblem speaks of one more thing. The epigram speaks of one more thing, and that is, he that can scarce upon a level stand, in vain attempts Parnassus to ascend. Now, Mount Parnassus was the tallest mountain in Greek mythology, and on that mountain resided Apollo, Dionysus, and the Dionysian mysteries, and the Muses as well, and the Corycian nymphs. Sorry about that. All right. So it was kind of a sacred mountain. And essentially here we have that message again where, look, if you don't have any feet, you can't possibly climb this mountain. Okay. So again, this may be a reference to the spirituality of the whole thing. So I think, again, here's this message that Count Michael is reiterating. In order to attain the wisdom, you need to do the work. Okay, if you're not going to do the work, you're not going to get into that walled garden. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say. I hope it made sense. And now let's check out the Hermetic Journeys team. Let's see what they have to say concerning this emblem.
Greetings. What's up, Tony? What's up? Hermetic Journeys fam. Nathan, Jake here. Beautiful Fairmont Park in Riverside, California. Rose garden, like the rosary mentioned in the thing. When I first thought about doing this emblem, there were no roses here, but now there are. Time makes fools of us all. Funny how in the emblem's video there are no roses. Roses in the rosary, none at all. It's all just, well, trees and paths. And there's one tree kind of separated from all the other trees. Trees like to be near their families, don't they? It's funny that. Yeah, the rosary, right? Also a string of beads used for prayer and such. And a key. The key found in this world to open that gate, right? Key's not just to open a lock, but it's a musical reference, right? To know the starting point, the key, the root note, the root, right? To try and do it without feet, like walking without feet, root, not being grounded to the earth. And to be so caught up in the mental spheres. We see the character standing in front of the gate, fascinated by 3 locks, not 1, not 2, but 3 locks. And this big pointy thing, big scary door. He could climb in at any time. He doesn't need to, he can climb over. But he's just staring at that gate like a fool. Well, no, because the fool takes the leap. He's doing something else, sillier than a fool. And he's standing, looking like he has no feet, right? But he's like standing in mud. It's like flowing mud water from not just the town, but from the place where up the hill. If he just goes up the hill, he can see all the fun people sitting on the hill, near the trees, having human experiences. But there he is, just staring at a gate, standing in mud. Mud, right? Like the alchemical process separates stuff and purifies stuff. Mud is water that's kind of murked up, right? Not settled, not allowed to sit, not allowed to be. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, isn't it? Love this one. Love the tie-in from the last one too, with the tree thing, the tree of life, tree of knowledge. Yeah. Wonderful emblem. Thanks for the time. See you guys.
Thank you, Nathan, for your consistently too brief but always interesting insight into these emblems. Okay, great stuff, my friend. A rose garden. You actually went to a rose garden, which is really, really cool. I love it. And now Maddi is going to present to us something fascinating, of course, as always. And let's take a look at what she has to say about Emblem 27 and its connection to the Celtic realm.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much for inviting me to join the team for this one again. So, my first impression looking at this image is to wonder, what is it about locks that make us really want to know what's behind them? Especially when we can't get in. Unless, of course, we also have the key. Here we have a man standing in front of what appears to be a walled garden. The wall isn't very tall, and yet he stands before this door that is secured by 3 locks. A little overkill, maybe. When I see 3s, especially stacked vertically, I think 3 realms: the realm of sky, the realm of land, the realm of sea. We live in the realm of land. This is our world. The realm of sky and the realm of sea, however, are other than our world. The other world, exactly. You get there by crossing the 9th wave, according to the Celts, and we do see that there is some sort of waterway that runs through this image. So, where are we? Which realm? There are some clues, and to decipher what they are, we have to go back to an old Welsh poem called The Spoils of Annwn. In this tale, a group goes on a raid to the other world. And what they want to do is they want to steal the cauldron of the king of Annwn. Why? Everybody had cauldrons back in the day. This one was special. It was magical. It was said that it would not boil the food of a coward, that it would inspire you to poetry that would gain you acclaim, and that it was warmed by the breath of 9 maidens. And if we look in the distance of the image, we see indeed there are 9 figures sitting beneath the tree, and they are on the other side of this watery stream from the man. Now, that raiding party had one figure who wasn't famous yet, but he will be, and his name was Arthur. No crown yet, just Arthur. So they go in search of this cauldron. Why? Why would you want this thing? Why do we have this image? And what is up with this man's feet? Why is he stuck in the mud? Does he not have feet? Does he not have a leg to stand on? Well, what does he want? He wants to get through this door in the worst way. You could argue he could crawl, he could roll over it. It's not a big wall. And what's on the other side? A rose garden. There has to be more to this than meets the eye. And of course, there is. So what's the symbolism of not having a leg to stand on and being stuck in the mud? He doesn't have a key. And how do you get a key? Well, what's the purpose of all of this? Of alchemy, of druidry, of any kind of inward looking? To be better, right? To take our lead and hopefully elevate it to gold, to be a better person. To do that, you can't just decide you're going to shine yourself up. You have to spend some time looking down into your own mud, into the muck at the bottom of your magical cauldron inside, and deal with your shadows. Now, shadow work, that's a whole nother video. But here is this man who is stuck in his mud, in his shadow, and he cannot get through to this garden. So if I'm dealing with my issues, the last thing I'm going to call for is bring me a rose. Hang on. Remember that fellow from the raiding party? Well, let's fast forward along his history. And after his story gets romanticized by all sorts of authors, and he's still around, and he's still showing up on Broadway and in movies. Now, King Arthur has another encounter with this space. After he is mortally wounded at the Battle of Camlan by his son/nephew, we're not even going to go there, he is brought for healing to the island of Avalon, a place where his sister/baby mommy lives with her 8 sisters. Another sisterhood of 9. There are plenty of those in the literature. He is left there after he crosses the lake. He gives Excalibur back to the Lady of the Lake. He is crossing water. He is crossing into the other world for healing. So why Avalon? Well, Innis Avalon in Welsh means island of apples. So shouldn't this be an apple orchard then and not a rose garden? Turns out the rose family, Rosacea, is huge. And among the plants in that family are many, many healing plants. And one among them may surprise you. It is also often associated with the other world, especially if its fruits are gold, or in the case of Avalon, silver, and that is the apple. So here we have a man seeking healing on the other side, looking for the key to heal his soul wounds in this legendary island. And if you look at this walled garden, it is separated from the rest of the image. So it is kind of a little island unto itself. Now, about this lock and this key, well, here we go, hermeticists. You know the key, the teacher won't appear until the student is ready. So this man has to figure out a way to get his feet out of the mud first. He may need some help. As for this lock and this key, I don't think the world is ready for the wisdoms of my high school self. Not anytime soon. So this one will remain safe. Ooh, that was cold. Maybe that's why the druids didn't write things down. What do you think? Back to you, Tony.
That was good, Maddi. That was awesome. Another awesome video. I love how you put it all together and making it more metaphorical. It's just beautiful. Just absolutely love it. Okay, and now let's take a look at my dear friend Tamas and see what he has to say, applying the philosophy of the body-mind to, oh, here we are again. Hi there. applying the philosophy of the body-mind to the emblems. I think it's really fascinating. I love that perspective. All right, Tamas, take it away.
Regarding the Philosopher's Garden, the main mystery is what the key and the bolt might be. But I have discussed those already in the video for Emblem 23 and how they lead to the state of not knowing. Therefore we could also call the garden of not knowing what we are. But in this video I will discuss a different topic. In the video for Emblem 25, when I explained the properties of the god Hermes, I left out one because it's too complex to be explained in a single sentence. And that was why Hermes is the god of boundaries, which is closely connected to today's emblem because in it we are also separated from the Philosopher's Garden by an impenetrable boundary. There used to be a custom in ancient Greece that once a year they selected the most handsome youth in the Boeotian city of Graia, who carried a ram on his shoulders around the city walls. They reenacted a mythological story in which Hermes did the same to save the city from pestilence. A similar motif appears in the Iliad of Homer. Achilles was furious after Hector killed his beloved Patroclus. So after he killed Hector in a duel, he also wanted to defile his body, so he tied the body to a chariot and dragged it around the city of Troy multiple times. But Apollo protected the skin of Hector's body so it remained unharmed. Then later Hermes appeared in the Achaean camp. He made everyone asleep and helped the father of Hector to return the body into the city of Troy. We see here that the motif of an impenetrable boundary, the walls of Troy, is associated with the skin of Hector. The skin of certain animals or monsters often appear as impenetrable in Greek mythology. For example, Hercules had to kill the Nemean lion with strangling, because no sword could cut through its skin. Then he wore the skin for his defense. Or this vase painting on which Jason allows the dragon that protects the golden fleece to swallow him. This is most likely a variation of the motif of getting swallowed with a sword in hand, to kill the monster from the inside, as it is shown on this vase painting, which is very similar to how the Achaeans defeated Troy by the Trojan horse. If we consider what Dr. Meyer wrote about the dragon in Emblem 25, that it is the same as the god Hermes, then this vase painting can be interpreted as the surrender to the space. In the book Eternity Now, Francis Lucille says the following: when the attention frees itself from perceptions that hold it in thrall, it discovers itself as that self-luminous space which is the true substance of the body. At this moment, the duality between body and space is abolished. The body is expanded to the size of the universe and contains all things, tangible and intangible, in its heart.
What can I say, Tamas? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. Just love it. And the philosophy of Francis Lucille and how you're putting it all together, and how you're looking at these emblems and relating it to the body-mind, the Advaita Vedanta, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Fascinating stuff, my dear friend. Excellent. And now we're going to take a look at what Steve Kalec has to say. He's going to look beyond the veil, right? Into the alchemical realm. And he's going to give us the alchemical interpretation of this emblem. And in addition to that, he's going to demonstrate through some photographs of an experiment he did that took him 3 years to complete. Absolutely amazing stuff, as always. Take it away, my good friend, Steve Kalec.
Hello, Tony, my good friend, and greetings to all your followers. This Emblem 27 of the Atlantis series clearly tells us that there is a key to knowing alchemy, that we cannot execute the alchemical process without the use of this key. Without this key, our work would be mere chemistry and not alchemy. The emblem and its text really does not tell us what the key is, only that without it, it is as if a man without feet tries to climb the steep mountains of Parnassus, the land of mythological gods and heroes. And we all know that without feet, that's impossible. So, there have been many alchemical works written concerning alchemical keys and the alchemical process. It is written to lege, et re-lege, meaning read, and reread the works of the masters to truly understand the alchemical process and the key to alchemy. It is also said that one book opens another book, and that the words of one master reveals the words of another. So let us look at what Basil Valentine has to say. We see in Basil Valentine's 12 keys of alchemy, in the emblem of his 8th key, 2 men with crossbows aiming at a square target with a bullseye, and a key standing above it indicating a key to the process of alchemy. They have attained this key since they have hit the bullseye. We see a grave, and a man resurrects, stepping out of it. We see corn is sprouting, representing the fruition of seed. We see a corpse lying in the field, showing us that the seed which is not placed in the earth does not resurrect. Basil Valentine says, neither human nor animal bodies can be multiplied or propagated without decomposition. The grain and all vegetable seed, when cast into the ground, must decay before it can spring up again. Let us keep in mind that decay here means putrefaction, and putrefaction is a slow fire, since all that putrefies gives off heat. I myself do believe that the Atalanta Fugiens Emblem 27 is speaking about the very same thing, that the key to enter the alchemical garden is the knowing of the alchemical fires. It is well known in alchemy that the alchemists know of the secret of the metallic fires, and is well discoursed in ancient Hebrew texts called the Azek Mezareph, or the purifying fires, which is relating to the influences of the vibratory rates of these alchemical metallic fires. The alchemists know of these fires to be also those of the 7 planets, and also how these very same vibrations, because that's what fire is, it's vibrations, can be found in man and manipulated. And they also know how to set these fires or light them. This is the key about which both alchemists Basil Valentine and Michael Myers speak of, and is about the knowing of the secret fire on all levels of being, without which there is no alchemy. There is an adage in alchemy that states, "Seek ye the secret fire, for without it you can do nothing in our art." Even if the matter be known, we need to know how to set the secret fire and how to use it. And this not only relates to practical lab works, and I will give an example of this, but also of a process that transpires within ourselves, since the alchemical process is universal to all levels of being. Let me first try to explain the inner process. The sowing we see as the sowing of the seed is the sowing of our consciousness, of our very soul. This is the interior way. Consciousness must be turned inwards through a backward flowing way into the very heart of our corporeality, there to find the gold as the light within ourselves. Of course, this is not only relating to meditations, but also in some very powerful metaphysical practices and discipline. The slow fire of our putrefaction is really the regiment of the secret fire, which allows for the blackest of our inner metal, the lead of our unconscious, to be whitened through the action of the inner heat of the secret fire. The golden chain of Homer says, decay is a wonderful smith, for it transforms the elements. When matter decays, that is putrefaction. And putrefaction is a slow fire. And this fire has to be set or lit within ourselves. Now, putrefaction within us is not here meaning a rotting, but rather, as the golden chain of Homer says, a transformation of the old to the regenerated new. So to me, and I believe I'm right in this, is that the key of Emblem 27 of the Atalanta Fugiens is relating to the secret fire. One must know how to light the secret fire, which will begin the work of the transformation for us. How to set the secret fire. It is said that the secret fire is set within our matter by an external fire. Now, what does that mean? The external fire can be seen in the external fire of the Athanor. It is also seen in incubation heat by keeping our matter near warm areas like a radiator or even on top of a heat pad. If we keep the substance cold, no inner fire will be set, and no putrefaction results. That is why we keep our meats in freezers. In ancient times we read that alchemists placed their vases and containers into animal dung, which was itself a putrefaction, creating its own heat. Other ways are by dissolving our matter in certain alchemically created alkahests and philosophical mercuries, which are certain spirits of metals that contain the secret fire, which will transfer the secret fire to our matter. Of course, this is in the practical laboratory work. I will now show how the secret fire is set in a work I performed on lead. It generally takes about 2 years to set the secret fire in such metallic works, and most people don't know this. They have no clue as how much patience there is needed in such works. I can attest to this, as I patiently waited 3 years to get my philosophical dragon to generate out of lead. I fed it, I cleaned it, and I kept it warm, and I waited, and finally I got my results. In this experiment on the acetate path, I used the mineral cerussite, or lead carbonate. I poured my own distilled vinegar over it, incubated it at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, a little over blood heat. After 6 months, the vegetable life and the mineral life married, and the lead began to grow like a plant. After 1 year, it looked like a reddened cauliflower. And slowly the growth of my philosophical dragon showed its appearance. After 3 years, the dragon grew up, and it was time to distill the dragon for its blood. The dragon spewed out its breath, as seen in the vapors within the condenser. It gave up its philosophical mercury as its spirit. It gave up its soul as its red oil. Finally, I had the philosophical wine, which needed 2 more distillations to receive the pure philosophical spirit of the philosophical wine of lead. Our dragon is a philosophical matter, and philosophical matters give us philosophical products. The philosophical mercury thus acquired is used in many other metallic works, as it can extract the alchemical principles from other metals. Very important substance. In spiritual and metaphysical work, we also need an external fire to set the inner spiritual fire, or the psychic heat. And these are usually disciplines and practices. These are external works that will begin the inner work. So what are these external practices? Let us see. The inner fire needs to be worked on and tended to. It must be cared for and fanned into flames. It needs to be awakened through psychic exercise and mystical zeal. Vigil must be kept through aspiration, prayer, invocation, visualization, concentration, imagination, tantric breathing, longing and love for that which is the divine in oneself. Each of these techniques act as the outer fire that will light the inner fire. The real goal in working with this fire element is to get direct connection with your own energies. We should aspire to truly feel the actual spiritual energies and metaphysical dynamics within our own bodies. We should try to get to know it and understand it and acquire a skill for working with it. My friends, let me conclude with a passage from The Secret of the Golden Flower. It's a Chinese text about the unfolding of consciousness, which the Chinese master calls the golden flower. He says of the secret fire, quote, "We must hold fast to and guard that which is the primal essence of the One. We must nurture it by circulation of the light and the maintaining of the center. If one guards this true energy, one can prolong the span of life and then apply the method of creating an immortal body by a process of melting and mixing." Unquote. Wow. Creating an immortal body. Isn't that something? As for the method, one needs to make friends with Vulcan and learn from him how to set the fire of the wise, the fiery bath of spiritual love. My friends, this is the end of my presentation. I tried to explain how the secret fire works, both laboratory techniques and spiritual techniques. I hope it inspired some of you. With all that said, all best wishes to all. Bye for now.
Wow. I mean, what can I say? Steve, that was incredible. The secret fire, this treatise on the secret fire, absolutely beautiful. I mean, beautiful, beautiful stuff, as always. Thank you so very much, Steve. Loved it. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed all of these videos, all the contributions from the Hermetic Journeys team, each one unique in its own way, each one a unique perspective, and that's what life's all about, right? Gaining new perspectives, or gaining perspectives that you never would have imagined. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Anna, for your beautiful voice and your gift of that video. And I hope you all have a wonderful time, and we'll see you Emblem 28. Thanks for watching. Bye.